Come on in, everyone. Come on in as we talk about Love After Lockup, Season 5, Episode 39. What's the name of this episode? Rules of Engagement. That's what we're talking about today, y'all. Rules of Engagement. And like my thumbnail said, I got a question for y'all. First of all, before I say my question, don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe. And don't forget to listen for something you might want to comment down on in the comment. I love to hear what y'all think about this show. Not only what I'm saying, but also what do you think about the show? But here's my question. Is Leticia a bad mama? Is Leticia a bad mama? And I don't want to call no one a bad mama because I'm not going to judge her over one decision in time. There's a lot of decisions mothers have to make. But I'm going to judge her over this one decision. And I'm going to say she made the wrong one. She made the wrong decision to get these kids. And it really ain't both kids because the one girl, Zariah, whatever her name is, she could care less if that man came home from out of prison. She don't want him there in the first place. But Leticia definitely made a big mistake by telling that daughter that husband might come home. The mistake that Leticia fell into was that in her own excitement for her husband coming home, she started to treat her daughter like it's her girlfriend. You know, you got a girlfriend, girl, my man's coming home. That's something you tell your girlfriend. And whether or not he comes home or he doesn't come home, it's no big deal because your girlfriend don't really care for the man that way. But the mistake that Leticia made was she got her daughter's hopes up real high to only let her down. And Leticia should have protected her daughter more. Her daughter already has a big hole in her heart because you can see her daughter wants a daddy so badly. And now we really, really know why the daughter wants a father so badly. Because I kind of always felt that they were from two different dads because the sisters don't look anything alike. So I said, okay, Leticia definitely made these babies with two different men. But the part we got this week, which also understands why Zariah really ain't feeling this Keith fella coming home from prison. She could care less. In fact, I don't even think she wants it. Is because Zariah is close with her own dad. Okay, which tells me that when Zariah's dad comes around, picks her up, takes her places, does things with her, he's only doing it with Zariah. He's not taking the baby girl. And so the baby girl says, I want a daddy too. I want a daddy like Zariah has. And here she is getting her hopes up so high. And all of a sudden, she gets let down because Leticia treated her like a girlfriend. Leticia should have protected her daughter even more. But I'm going to tell you another mistake Leticia's about to make. Now Leticia's deciding that I'm going to move my kids from wherever they are in the Midwest. I forget where they are in the Midwest. Cold weather. Where her father is. Where Zariah has a close relationship with her father. And she says, I'm going to move us to North Carolina where there's warm weather. And then she's bribing the little girl. I said, do you really want to live by the cold weather or do you want to live by the beach? Well, what you think the daughter's going to choose? That's another bad mother move. Like I said, I'm not going to call her a bad mother all the way around. But these couple of moves that she's making right now, they're bad moves. She's only thinking about herself. She's not thinking actually about her children. These moves Leticia is making is really about what she wants, where she wants to be. It's really not about what's best for her children. This daughter of hers has got to be in high school. She looks old enough to be in high school. And what Leticia is talking about is moving her child in high school, not only away from her friends that she's probably been friends with since she was a young girl, is moving her away from her own father so that Leticia can be in warm weather with this man, Keith. Ugh. What a horrible decision. Horrible decision. At this point in time, if I'm Zariah's father, I hope there's an opportunity for her to go live with her dad. And then Leticia can go on and move to North Carolina. I hope there's an opportunity that Zariah can stay and live with her dad and she can move to North Carolina. And maybe that's what Leticia's actually setting up. Because Zariah don't like the man already. She didn't want him to come home. She didn't want him to move in right away. Let's say that. She had said, I wish he could stay somewhere first. Let us get to know him and then he can move in. She's a young girl. She's developed. She's developing. She's a young woman. But once again, Leticia doesn't think of that, you know. And maybe Leticia set up a scenario where her daughter, she already knew her daughter was uncomfortable with Keith coming to the house. So maybe this is the way of Leticia having the daughter stay with the father. Maybe this is the setup. Hey, we're going to be moving to North Carolina. And since Zariah is in high school, I want to let her finish out her high school years here. So whoever the father is, can Zariah stay with you? That's what Leticia's setting up. And I think in a lot of ways, Zariah's going to see through that you really just tried to get rid of me for this man. You're really just choosing the man over me, mother. And what you're doing is you're using this excuse to move away as the reason why you want me to stay with my dad, because you don't want me here because you know I have a problem with Keith and you want to choose Keith over me. Like I said, I'm not going to call her a bad mother. I'm just going to say she makes some bad decisions. And the other bad decision we found out she made was taking this place where she's living, and she didn't do no due diligence on the landlords. I don't know what due diligence she didn't do. I suspect that these people who have scammed her were offering her some cheap rent because they knew they weren't going to pay no mortgage anyway. So they were like, let me offer a cheap rent to get somebody in here real fast, and somebody will snap up on it. And then what I'll do is I'll charge them a cheaper rent, give them a 20% discount on the rent, but I'm still winning because I'm really not paying no mortgage anyway. Because I would be hotter than fish grease if I were Leticia. But Leticia's taking this like a grain of salt, as if she knew it was coming. I almost believe Leticia knew from the very beginning she was paying rent to people who didn't pay the mortgage. And what she figured was, we'll just ride it out. And when the time happens, we'll move when we move. I think Leticia makes a lot of bad decisions. Somebody done told me that Leticia's done filed for bankruptcy. She lost her business and everything. I told y'all before that if Leticia would never be doing my taxes, knowing she was dating or bringing an ex-con into the business. So, like I said, I don't want to call her a bad mother, but I am going to call her a bad decision maker because we've seen a lot of them. A lot of them. And you know who else is making bad decisions? Kim with this Joey fella. Bad decisions. Bad decisions. She's making bad decisions not only in dating Joey. She's making bad decisions with her money. She gave her debit card over to this man, and he went around and charged $2,000 rims when he was only supposed to get tires. We come to find out that whatever car this was that Kim bought, it was a bad purchase, because last week he had to go buy tires for it. I said, you bought a brand new car and you already had to get tires within the first week. And now we find out this week that when she asked Joey what was he doing all day, he said, I had to go get my headlights fixed. So what? Your headlights didn't work either on the car, Kim? Kim only makes $15 an hour. So I don't really understand how Kim can make $15 an hour and she thinks she can run around here supporting Joey. And she got 2 kids. Another person. Is she a bad mother? Is she a bad mother? She making bad decisions. You make $15 an hour and you spending that money on Joey? Come on now. That money should be spent on your kids. How much money do you have to go around? Not much. And then another bad decision she makes is she plans a $2,000 engagement party. What for? A $2,000 engagement party when you're already still married? What kind of decision making is this? She makes horrible decisions too. Like I said, I'm not going to call her a bad mother, but she makes some bad decisions that affect her children. $2,000? You know, Joey is all the way wrong in what he's doing. He's using her. He's running up her bills, buying rims, buying expensive toys for the kids. Now he's meeting in the dark at the park with this ex, whatever it's going to be. He makes some really, really poor decisions himself. And Kim made a bad decision to even be with him. But what Joey said was, I don't care nothing about this wedding. I don't care nothing about this engagement party. And I don't know why you spending all this money on that when we could be spending the money on things that I want. That's what Joey's saying. Joey busted out of that house mad at Kim and called her a stupid ass HOE. That's what he said about the woman he's supposed to marry. Joey don't care nothing about Kim. Nothing at all. He don't respect her. He don't care nothing about her. By the time Kim wakes up, she going to be broke and busted. She going to be broke and busted and left with a whole lot of credit card debt. Because I already know all this stuff is getting charged on a credit card. It's getting charged on a credit card. She going to be broke, busted, with egg all over her face, shame, guilt, and a credit card up to the maximum limit she got. Because Joey going to run through that credit card until he goes someplace and it just gets declined. That's it. Joey over here texting this ex-girlfriend back and forth, WhatsApp, whatever the case may be, talking about now and he needs revenge on her because this woman left him. Well, she should have left you. When you go to prison, you get left. Okay, let that be a rule, prisoners. Part of your punishment for crimes you commit are not only the crimes from the government to punish you, you can also get punished by people who have stuck by your side, because there's no rule, especially when you're not married to someone, that I got to put my life on hold because you went to prison. So what? I got to be imprisoned with you? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I've always told my husband, if you ever go to jail and you go to jail over something that you knew you shouldn't have been done, I told you not to do, and everything, and you do it yourself and you get in trouble and you go to jail, I can't guarantee you that I'm going to put my life on hold for 30 years and wait on you. Call me a bad wife, call me whatever you want to call me. But if I'm a young woman in my 20s and you do something foolish and you go to jail for it and you think I'm supposed to live my whole life waiting for you to get out of jail, my whole life I have planned for myself, I'm supposed to do time with you? Absolutely not. Call me a bad wife if you want to, but I've always said that. But Kim up here going through the phone, looking through text messages. Joey snatches the phone back and says, give me that phone back. Give me my phone back. And Kim's like, the phone I bought? Yeah, the phone you bought, the rent you paying. He's driving around in the car you bought, the rims you bought. Your kids are playing with toys that you bought that he said that he bought for them. Yes, Kim, that's what it looks like. Maybe you ought to make a different decision. A lot of these women don't know how to draw boundaries. And the reason why they don't know how to draw boundaries is because they got kind of suckered into this deal they're with, because what they were expecting out of the deal is not what they got. When they were sending all this men money in prison, what they thought is they were going to get a sucker coming out of prison, and then that prisoner was going to do everything they wanted them to do. That's what these people were hoping for, control over a person. And when the person got out, now they lost control. You listen to Miss Crazy Zariah over here. She's still going off in the bathroom, throwing off her bra and her mic. And what she's really upset about, that Troy's been out of jail for 4 days. And what Zariah said was, she throwing this ring on the floor. You can have your ring back. Because what she's saying is, Troy, I stuck by you for 8 years while you were in prison. And within 4 days out of prison, you want to go see someone else other than me. That's what Zariah is saying. For 8 years, I stuck by you. And now, 4 days out of prison, you want to go see someone else. She don't care that someone else is the daughter. She wants to concentrate on the fact that, oh, the mama, Yanni, Yona, whatever, is mixed up with the daughter. That's really not what Zariah is upset about. What Zariah is upset about is Troy wants to go somewhere else, period. See, Zariah knows it would be selfish to complain about Troy wanting to see the daughter. So she's trying to make it all about Yona, Yanni. What difference does it make if Yana wants your man? That tells you how one is, Zariah is selfish, because what she's doing is she's trying to say it's about Yona or Yana, and it's not. It's about the daughter. But Zariah, like I said, she wants Troy to adopt her son, but she wants Troy to abandon his daughter. Is that a bad parent? Is that a bad parent? Is the way that Zariah is acting bad parenting? Like I said, I don't want to call no one a bad parent, but I'm going to say the decision she's making is wrong. Because what's she teaching her son? That Troy should abandon his own daughter to choose her son? This is a bad decision. That's what I'm saying. What Zariah is trying to act like is it's all about Yona or Yanni, but it's not. It's actually about Zariah. Zariah wants Troy all to herself, and she don't want to share him even with his daughter. Like the family said, they went out and finally got in the car, went to Buffalo, and they said, we really wish they would have moved to Buffalo. But of course, Zariah don't want to move to Buffalo because that's where the daughter is. And what Zariah wants is Troy to have a whole new life outside of his daughter, everything. She don't want him to have nothing to do with his daughter or that family, period. So of course she's going to move to somewhere else different, away from everyone else. And I'm not even saying maybe that's good for Troy. Maybe Troy, when he was in Buffalo, that's where he got in trouble. Maybe he shouldn't be around those people again. Maybe that's the situation. I don't know. Funny thing is that Miss Sharon did an interview with a blogger. I forget the lady's name, but she's the one that gets all these interviews with a lot of these love after lockup people. She got an interview with Sharon. Let me tell you, Sharon had a cursing session on that YouTube. So if your ears are sensitive, don't watch it. She was dropping F-bombs, every kind of 4-letter curse word you could think of. But she said something interesting about Troy's background. And she said that Troy's father was very intelligent. He had a really prestigious job and he had good money. He paid good child support and he was in Troy's life. And Troy went astray. And Troy went to prison, and his father, she said, spent close to $500,000 defending Troy in his first case. So Troy must have done a couple of times gone back to prison. And that father spent a lot of money hiring lawyers for Troy, and it didn't work. Troy still went to jail, and then he came out, and I think he went back to jail. So that mama had a lot to say. If y'all want to listen to what she was saying, go listen to it, because she was a whole trip and a half. She was telling a story about how she kidnapped Troy. They was on the run because the father wanted to take Troy from her. Ooh, it was a lot going on. Troy had to then go to foster care for a couple of months. And then eventually, I think the father got custody of Troy. I'm not for sure, but it's a lot going on. But this fighting over Troy, this two people fighting over Troy, is now what you see in Troy's life right now. All Troy's life, he's been fought over by his mother and his father. He had a loud mother. He had a more sensible father. And they fought over him. The mother went so far as to kidnap him. And now here you have Troy in the same situation. He's getting fought over by Yoni, Yana, and Zariah. And Zariah's over here acting just like the mother. Zariah is a lot like Miss Sharon, a lot like her. No wonder Troy is comfortable with her. We think Troy is going to leave Zariah. No, he ain't. He ain't going to leave Zariah because Zariah is his mother. Just like he still longed to have a relationship with his mother, just like he longed to patch up the wounds of his mother, he's patching them up through Zariah because Zariah is his mother. They are a lot alike. And so right now, Zariah has even kidnapped him from his own family in Buffalo. So they want him to be close to Buffalo. He ain't going back to Buffalo. He is not going back to Buffalo. But she had a big old tantrum, throwing the ring out, talking about she's done for real. I waited for you, and now you only been out 4 days, and you want to go see someone else. Miss Karen was sitting over there on the couch talking about she gonna chill out with her gummy and watch some Netflix and chill. And Troy is like, listen, Zariah, can you just calm down? Can you stop yelling? Then Zariah had the nerve to be mad at Troy because he left and took a walk for 2 hours. While she running around, you just told him to get the F out your house. He got the F out, went for a walk, and now you mad because he went for a walk for 2 hours and no one knew where he was. She's like, no one knew where you were, and Yanni's talking to your mother. You mean because you took the phone that you told me I couldn't get no phone? You took that back. You kicked me out the house. You threw your ring back at me, and I did exactly what you're saying. And now you mad that my mama can't contact me and you can't contact me, but my mama can contact Yoni. You did all this, Zariah. Zariah sets up all these things and blames everyone else, just like she brought the mama here. She brought the mama to the house, and then she's mad that the mama's here. Okay, she was the one that got with Troy in the first place in the prison system. And now she's mad that Troy got another daughter. Well, he had her before you met her. He had the daughter before you met him. She kicks Troy out, tells him to get the F out. And then she's mad that he left. He actually did leave and go take a walk. He's trying to calm her down. Like I said, Zariah got her and all them cysts on her face. It's got to be hormones. I mean, Troy is so twisted up. He calls Zariah some type of thing. He says Zariah is temperamatic. I said temperamatic. Oh, maybe he meant temperamental. He says Zariah is temperamatic and she likes to lash out. She your mama. She is just like your mama. He says, I'm seeing a whole new side of Zariah. No, you ain't. You've seen this side before. Stop lying, Troy. You've seen it before. You know who you seen it in? Your mama. And that's why you was drawn to it. She's still talking about how upset she is. And she's tired. And she says, you know, your mom's over there on the phone with Yanni. And, you know, why do they know about the fact that I cheated on you? Like I said, she's just like Miss Sharon. Miss Sharon, to tell you, when she was talking on that interview, Miss Sharon had multiple boyfriends. She talks about her pee thing being a hot item. She talks about it, how powerful it was. Zariah is no different. Zariah is no different. And in fact, she started telling the story that, hey, Zariah and Troy, they got a special type of relationship where it seems like, hey, having multiple partners at the same time at different times might just be okay with them. Hey, that's their business. That's their business. Sound like they done come to some sort of agreement whereby they're together, they're married, but it's not a big thing for either one of them to bring in another person into the relationship. Or, as Zariah said, I don't know, she was saying she's also bisexual. So, hey, they got a lot going on. A lot going on. And I mean, when you bring this type of complex dynamic into a relationship, it can get a little confusing for everybody. What is cheating? What's considered cheating? With whom? How? Where? Why? The rules can get a little fuzzy. So I'm sure Zariah and Troy going to have a lot to work out. But this is familiar for Troy. That's why he likes it. He said he's a scorned husband. He said he's a scorned husband, and Zariah cheated on him with someone else. But he's forgiven her. But Zariah said, I can't take any more of this bull crap with the baby mama. Well, you're going to have to, because the baby mama going to be around because she's the mother of his baby, Zariah. So I really don't know. Maybe you think it's like some lover you can bring in and then you can pay them off and they can go away. Nah, that ain't the way it works, Zariah. Once you have a child with someone, you stuck with them pretty much for life. Pretty much for life. As soon as they were on the road to Buffalo and the little girl called Troy on the phone and was happy that her daddy was coming, you could look at the look on Zariah's face. It was all nasty, all over the daughter. That's what I'm saying. It's not just about Yoni or Yanni. Zariah is insecure. Because let me tell you something. If she were really a secure person, she would have walked up into that backyard barbecue holding her head high and looking fabulous. That's what I would have done. I would have looked good, real good. And I would have gone over to Yanni and said, girl, how you doing? Because let me tell you, the way you really show that ex-woman, ex-baby mama, whatever, that you're not threatened by her, you go over and greet her, you smile. Because when you smile in her face and you greet her and you walk in there with confidence with your head high, what you tell her is, you are not a threat to me. I don't feel no kind of way about you. I don't need to keep my eye on you or nothing. I am not worried. I don't even care if you feel worried. I don't care even if you are feeling insecure. You fake that funk, ladies. You fake the funk. You walk in there with your head held high. You go over and you greet that woman. You let that woman know you are no threat to me. And the way you let her know is by the confidence you walk in and you exude. You may be scared on the inside. You may really feel threatened by her, but you do not let her know. Don't let the ops see you weak. Don't let the ops know that you're insecure, because then what they'll do is they'll play on that insecurity. That's what they'll do. Hold your head high, ladies. Hold your head high. Walk in there like you the bad bee, like you say you are. If you say that woman, that ex ain't nothing, then walk in that room like you worth $1 million. But Zariah did the opposite. She over there putting that makeup on and all those cysts. Maybe that's why she's insecure. Maybe it's because her face is all dotted up. Maybe she don't feel secure. So what? I don't care what it is. I don't care if you got a cyst on your face, pimples on your face. I don't care if you are carrying a few extra pounds you wish you didn't have. I don't care if you got that bad hair piece on your head. It's all about confidence, ladies. It's all about confidence. And Zariah, she ain't got none of it. None of it. She exudes weakness. All this screaming and yelling and back and forth, it exudes weakness. She thinks it's exuding strength, but really what it's exuding is weakness. And guess what happened? She sure did put that ring back on. Exactly. Why are you going to go out here to Buffalo, New York, let the ops know you fighting with your man and not wear your ring at the same time? Girl, at least she was smart enough to do that. Put it back on after all that hoopla. Like I said, these ladies act one way, but in the inside, they just really insecure. Really insecure. And you know who the person is? It's Shante. Shante, boy, I tell you, Shante and her boundaries, they go up, they go down, all within the same 60 seconds. It's like a window, the automatic power windows on your car. Up, down, up, down. So first of all, they got to go back to the parole officer, see the parole officer. So True trying to give Shante access to his bank account just in case he got to go back to jail. And if he does got to go back to jail, Shante gonna wipe that account out because Shante needs some money, which is fine because she got twins in her belly. So anyway, so he's all nervous that he's gonna go to jail because he violated his parole. And they drive back to the city for him to go into the parole officer. And the first thing Shante starts talking about on camera is, I know Troy think I'm gonna jump back into it. I know True think I'm gonna jump back into a relationship with him, but I'm not. And then within 30 seconds, she says, but am I thinking about getting back with him? Yes, I am. Wait a minute, Shante. You just said, I know True thinks that I'm gonna jump back into a relationship real fast just because he came back up here, but I'm not. And then she says, but am I thinking about getting back with him? I sure am. Girl, why even say the first part? Why even say it? She say, if Troy go back to prison, I ain't gonna be sticking with him. But then why should you accept custodial custody over his bank account if you ain't gonna stick with him? You're gonna stick with him, Shante. You're gonna stick with him no matter where he goes, and True knows that. True knows that you're gonna stick with him no matter what. When they finally get to the parole officer, he says, you could come in with me. She says, no, you go ahead and you go on in. And then within 30 seconds, who do we see going in? Shante. They pull up. He says, you can come in with me. She says, no, you go on and go by yourself. Like she don't want to support him. And then within 30 seconds, she walking right behind them. Woo, woo, woo. The next thing you know, we see them come out. And come to find out, the decision was that they're not going to take him back to jail, but he is on house arrest. Dang. Now he didn't even have house arrest. Now he's on house arrest for 2 years, y'all. He got to wear an ankle bracelet and everything. He really messed up. So now he's free again, but he ain't going to be locked up. He going to be on house arrest for 2 years. Shantae's mad. She's disappointed. Now he got a reason to stay where he is, and Shante got to go 5 hours away. And guess who's going to stick with him? Shante. She says she ain't going to stick with him. If he goes back to prison, well, you sticking with him because he might as well be in prison. He on house arrest 5 hours away from you. What is the difference? You're going to have to drive 5 hours to see him. He ain't going to be no help for you with them babies at all. So you sticking with him. And True knew it. When True got to decide where he was going to do house arrest, guess where he decided to do it? With some other woman named Pepper, where he is. And you know what he said? He said, yeah, I know that I could have chosen Shantae's house to do my house arrest, but I didn't want to do that. And I chose to do it here. And Shante, he said, if I got to choose between that and going back to prison, I'm going to choose that. And he says, Shante going to go along with whatever I decide. And that's exactly what she does. She talks a good game. But she going to go along with whatever he decides, no matter what he decides. So, now she all upset that, he going to be living with this woman named Pepper. And he's like, what kind of relationship you got with Pepper? And he says, as long as I'm paying rent, it ain't no sexual relationship if I'm paying rent. What? Does that mean that if you were sleeping with her, you wouldn't have to pay rent? Ooh, True knows how to live up on a woman, too. He says, it ain't nothing going on because I'm paying rent. Well, what does that mean? That if you was something going on, you wouldn't have to pay rent? That's how he look at it. Once I'm with you, I ain't got to pay nothing because this ding-a-ling I'm slinging on you is going to be worth any money I need to give you. I don't know. Way True thinks. It's backwards. But Shante don't get along with no one for real. She don't even like this Kels lady. The Kels is the lady that's married to or dating True's brother, who's also incarcerated. So I guess a lot of their families in jail. True and his brother's in jail. I guess they lived a life of crime. And I guess this goes back to the fact that they liked white women because Kels is a white woman and Shantae's like... maybe the reason why True liked white women because he felt like they were more... maybe they go along with the antics of he and his brother more. But now that he found the black girl and Shante to go along with whatever he says, maybe it really wasn't a white thing or a black thing. Maybe it was all about who the woman is. Let me find a woman who lets me do whatever I want to do and go along with me. And maybe what it was he found that in white women more often, because Now that he found it in Shante, a black girl, he just fine. And talk about laying up on a woman, we got to go over here to Arthur and Hope. And Arthur met the family of Hope. I liked Hope's sisters. Them sisters, what was their names? They was funny, but they was speaking some truth. And they were like, you laying up on my sister, you ain't got no job, and all you talking about doing is being an entrepreneur, but you ain't got no cash to start no business. And what kind of stuff was you sewing? Beanies in prison for the Muslim prisoners? Boy, get out of here. So all this time, Hope been lying to her sisters and her grandparents about who she was dating. And them sisters said that Hope got a long line of bad choices in men. She said, I hope this man, before she told him who the man was, they're like, you got a long line of broken windows and dating married men with whole other families, wives and children. So I guess Hope ain't got the best decision making either. And so she had to break the news to the sisters that she dating a prisoner from prison. And the sister's like, this don't make no doggone sense. This makes no sense. You working, paying all the bills from this man. The sister's name is Destiny. She said, this sounds delusional. I'm with you, Destiny. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And even the grandma and grandpa came. And when Arthur walked in with that triangle on his head, nobody could keep their eyes off that triangle. I mean, the grandmama's eyes went straight to that triangle. So did the daddy's eyes. Come to find out, the grandpa's eyes, the grandpa used to be a correctional officer, so he knows the game. He knows the game. He tried to be open and stay open and honest, but I'm telling you, after Arthur leaves, he's going to tell his granddaughter the real deal. You need to stay away. He didn't want to judge Arthur sitting there in front of him. He gave Arthur some encouraging words and saying, you can make it, you can reform yourself. Even one of the sisters, I think her name is Bianca. She said she studied criminal justice in college, recidivism, and they all have a heart to criminal justice reform. So I think they have a heart for prisoners trying to reform themselves, but I don't know if they want to have their sister be the guinea pig. That's what I think the difference is. Everybody wants a prisoner to be reformed. Everybody wants a prisoner to be able to, matriculate back into normal civilian life successfully and happily. But do they really want their loved ones to be the guinea pig? Nah. Especially like they said, you only been out a couple of days, couple of months, couple of weeks. You ain't even proving yourself first. Everybody deserves a second chance. But when you get that second chance is the question, right? When you get that second chance. And right now, Arthur's running around talking about he can't find a job. Some of these other prisoners have found jobs. Why can't Arthur find a job? I'm telling you, it's that triangle. He's going to need to get him some concealer, and he's going to need to cover up that triangle. If he can't get it removed, he can't pay for it to get removed, he's going to have to put some makeup over it. I mean, let's just be real. Ain't nobody going to hire him with no triangle on his forehead. No one at all. And as that family sat there and grilled Arthur after it was all over, who was mad? Arthur. Arthur was mad because he felt that Hope should have defended him. Really, Arthur? Really, Arthur? I understand this thing about Arthur not feeling abandoned. And I think, but what he does is he puts a lot of work on Hope to be the one to make him feel better. And I see both sides. But I think what Hope has done in a lot of ways, the fact that she even chose him, the fact that she is even introducing him to her family, I don't really see anything wrong with the family being able to express their concerns to Arthur about what their expectations are of Arthur to be able to be with their sister and their granddaughter. And what Arthur felt like Hope should do is not listen to her family, not listen to her grandparents, defend him to no end, and abandon her family. Well, that's because that's what he did with his family. So he feels, hey, I didn't listen to my mama. I ran off with you, and I chose you, and I said, the hell with my family. And here we are sitting with your family, and you're allowing your family to talk about me like this. Well, your mama talked about Hope. Your mama talked about Hope. One thing about Arthur is he's so sensitive, and in his own feelings, he only sees his feelings. He don't see no one else's feelings. He only sees his own. Like I said, he's very, very emotional, and his wounds are so deep that these two don't need to be together. They really don't need to be together. Arthur need to go get some help. Like someone said, he could be suffering from schizophrenia. He needs some psych meds, something to help him balance himself out so he can have some better conversations, because the way he enters conversations is all from just his lens. And that doesn't mean that Hope doesn't do some bad things. She does. But Arthur's point of view is always from the point of view of his. He may say that he chose Hope over his mother, but really what he chose was someone taking care of him. Because had he gone to his mother's house, his mama wasn't going to pay his bills like Hope is. You see, he wants to say he chose Hope, but he really chose the money. Because had he gone to his mother's house, that mama's not going to support him. He's going to tell he got to get a job. His mama not going to be buying him no sewing machine, setting him up to be no designer. So in one way, he can say he chose Hope, but a lot of ways he chose himself. Like I said, Arthur's a thief. In his nature, he's a thief. He steals from people. What he believes is he's entitled to things that he didn't purchase, that he didn't earn. And here he is once again demanding something from these people, the grandparents, the sisters, and from Hope, what he hasn't earned. You see, you need to give me this now, even though I've done nothing to earn it. You should give it to me. And if you don't give it to me, then I should take it. He's a thief. He steals from people. And then he likes to go on the run and tell people that they're the problem. So that's what I mean. He approaches relationships like a thief. He's come there to steal from you, to get from you, to take from you and give nothing back, but expect everything. What is Hope? What is Arthur giving to Hope? What is Arthur giving to Hope? And then sitting here demanding even more. He's a thief. He's a thief with things, with money, with cars, and with emotions and relationships. He's a thief. Hope better listen to his sisters. Hope better listen to his sisters and get away. I don't know what went down with that gun and whatever else, but Hope needs to get away from Arthur. Like I said from the very beginning, don't trust no man with a triangle on his head. And then we move over here to Bianca and Daniel. He still ain't out of prison yet, but Bianca, she's still kicking up. She mad because the parents is coming to the release of their son. Selfish people. I tell you, these civilians really want control over these prisoners. And Bianca said, I done spent all this money on you. I done moved from Florida to Arizona. And so when you get out of prison, I don't even want your parents here to greet you. It's just pure selfishness. Let me start exacting control over you right away. And like she said, she's not going to stop drinking. She probably hope he keep drinking because that'll allow him to be controlled even more, because she can be the one in charge of buying the alcohol and whatever else and control him even more. And then she really upset with his nosy cousin that's coming around. She said, why you tell him not to marry me? Girl, that nosy cousin seemed like he want a lot of control too. When Daniel come out, like I said, he going to have two wardens, this cousin of his and Bianca going at it, fighting over these prisoners. Another prisoner, they're going to have people fighting over him. But that cousin was asking some good questions like, hey, have you thought about what it's going to look like when Daniel gets out of prison? And Bianca says, no, I ain't thought about that. What? You ain't thought nothing about that? Well, then what are you thinking about, Bianca? What are you thinking about? Because if you're not thinking about how you carve this life, what other things are you thinking about? He says, you know, we relapsed in prison. Are you thinking about that too? Nope, I'm not thinking about that either. Well, you know, he's an alcoholic and you like to drink alcohol. Have you thought about that, Bianca? Nope, I'm not thinking about that either. Girl, what are you thinking about? Nothing but herself. Nothing but herself. What she wants. Robert is a hater. I ain't gonna lie. He is a hater. He don't like Bianca. He want all control over Daniel. He want to be the one that reforms him. I don't know. He could call it love, but it's a bit much for me too. But you know what? He and Bianca are going at it over who's going to have control over Daniel. Who is going to have control over Daniel? But in his own way, which he might call it love, he's seeking another type of control. But the things he's pointing out on Bianca are true. They are true. So I can't get mad at him over that. And then we got the convict comedy, Christine, talking about she wants to start doing stand-up comedy, you know, off hours after work. And Julian, who wants to keep her trapped in the closet, said, instead of you going to do comedy after work, maybe you need to get a second job. Oof. Julian. Julian. He said there's only two places you need to be. You either need to be at work or trapped upstairs in that closet. One of the two. Right? One of the two. Either in the bed with me, servicing me in bed, at work, or trapped in the closet. That's it. All this idea you going to comedy, in a lot of ways, it could be therapy for Christine to go to comedy. Maybe it could be part of her healing. Maybe it could be part of her, readjusting. But Julian said he's afraid for her to be in a club because the disappointment might make her start using again. Well, she already working in a bar around alcohol. You didn't have no problem with that, Julian. You have no problem with Christine working in a bar. If you're so worried about her sobriety, why would you allow her or want her to work in a bar? And instead of protecting her from the bar, you tell her to go get extra shifts. Woo, like I said, these civilians try to act like they so kind-hearted and they so wonderful, but they want control. Julian. He trying to pimp out Christine too. Christine said, I'm not supposed to be drinking. It's on my paperwork that I'm not allowed to drink. But she says, I'm going to need a shot to go up here on this stage. And she going to need a shot every time she go up there. And then she going to have to come home, go up to the closet and sleep it off. And Julian going to be hotter than fish grease because he's like, you need to get a second shift so you can pay some of these bills around here. Stop paying for the lawyer, Julian. Stop paying for the lawyer. Stop paying her child support. Stop paying all of it. Stop paying. You're going to sit here, talk about bad parents. Is Julian a bad parent? Is Julian a bad parent? Because he's using all his money, his little severance pay to pay child support for Christine, to pay lawyers for Christine. What? Absolutely not. He a bad parent too, making bad decisions. All these people making bad parenting decisions. Shante having twins and she already had 4 kids. Bad parenting decisions. All these people think that their decisions are just affecting them and it's affecting everyone. Bianca, the only one with don't have no kids, so her bad decisions right now are only affecting her. But everybody else, from Zariah to Shante to Christine, all of them making bad decisions. Julian, all bad decisions. Kim, bad parenting decisions, y'all. But anyway, that's all I got, y'all. That's all I got for Love After Lockup. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like the video, y'all. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye.